Hello, everybody. Tracy, Mrs. JDog Flanagan with you here today. I'm the co-founder and senior vice president at JDog Brands. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Tactical Treasures podcast, sponsored by the JDog Foundation. Our podcast gives veterans, mil spouses, active military members, and military family members a voice in the veteran space to speak about their service, how they're affecting their communities post-service, and they share with me a tactical treasure that has helped them in their journey in their military career, business, or life. Today, I'm very excited to have with me Shante Frazier. Shante is a graduate of Spelman College and served as an intelligence officer in the Army National Guard for 6 years prior to receiving her MBA from NYU. Shante has held roles as a senior consultant at PwC and a senior merchandising manager at Wayfair. She is now the co-founder and CEO of Well Capped, the first tech-enabled wig rental company. Shante founded the company with her cousin Lauren Grant after their aunt gave them the idea to start a company that enables consumers to rent expensive hair extensions and wigs instead of paying thousands of dollars to purchase. Shante recently won the 2023 GPBN's Veteran Shark Tank Pitch Competition, where she received a $50,000 grant. Hello, Shante, and that's where I saw you first. And I have to tell you, I really love this concept, and I can't wait to get into the discussion. First of all, thank you for your service, ma'am, to our country.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Oh, of course. So, your pitch on Shark Tank was so well done. I really love this concept. We'll get into that in just a moment, but first, I would love to know what led you to join the Army National Guard.
I was in college when I first started doing research at the time. I always knew I wanted to go to Spelman College, which is where I went for undergrad. And at the time, my mom basically told me, like, hey, we can no longer afford for you to go to school out of state. So I started doing research, and initially I joined for the scholarship. But it was really one of the best decisions I've made in my life. It completely transformed who I am. I now have more discipline. I did things I never thought I would do. If you know me, you know that I hate running, I hate bugs, I hate loud noises. So it took me completely out of my comfort zone. But it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Oh, that's really great. Yeah, I hate bugs too. um, so it sounds like it was a great experience, but is there a particular aspect or moment of your service that it was impactful in a positive way?
I met so many great people throughout the military, some of the smartest people I know. And one thing that I'm so grateful for the military for is that it helped me find my voice. If you can imagine this black 22-year-old woman who I didn't know anything about the military. No one in my family was in the military that I can remember. My dad was in the Air Force at one point, but
Okay.
that was way before I was thought of. But I remember not really. I had to find a unique way to lead my platoon, only because I was so young, didn't really know who I was. It was hard for me to lead people twice my age. In the military, I credit the military for helping me find my voice, find my command presence, learn the best way to lead, which for me is through being authentic.
Wow, I love that. Yeah. Military really does shape you, and there's, experiences that push us out of our comfort zone. If you can believe this, I hate public speaking.
Yes, same.
and but JDog has pushed me in areas that I never thought I would see myself, imagine myself being, like, you know, training and speaking in front of a room and, teaching how we do our business and everything. It's crazy when I think about it. But That's
So
really great. I love that. Well capped. I first of all, I love the idea.
thank you.
It's a very unique business. How did I know your aunt kind of inspired you, right? But what, what was the thought process that's thought, oh, I need to start a wig company?
So my journey to being an entrepreneur is a little different from the way other people found their way into entrepreneurship. At the time, I was working at PwC. It was at the beginning of COVID, and I had
Oh,
a little extra time on my hand. We weren't flying out every Monday.
yeah.
So I basically said I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I thought I wanted to create a co working space for mothers where there was on site childcare. So I was on Upwork looking for someone to create the logo when I saw an ad that said entrepreneurs want it. We'll give you $100,000 in capital. You don't have to have an ideal. And I applied like a week before the deadline and ended up getting into what's is called a venture studio. And the
Oh,
first
wow.
4 weeks of that venture studio, they basically work with you to come up with an idea. And 1 week I had no clue what I was going to pitch to everyone. And I was on the phone venting to my aunt, and she said, someone should create a company like Rent the Runway, which rents out gowns and dresses to
Right,
people,
right.
but it should be for hair extensions. And when she said it, at first I laughed. I said, "No one is going to be out here renting out weave." But I started thinking about it, and it really did hit all 3 points that I was looking for in the company, which is one, an antiquated model, meaning the way it looks today is the same way it looked in 1982. The second one is room for growth. I wanted to build in a space that I knew was growing at a fast rate, and that's the hair industry. And then the
Right.
third thing I was looking for was a fragmented market because I didn't want to compete with. We were only given $100,000. That's not a lot, so I knew I didn't have the capital to compete with Procter and Gamble, Estee Lauder. So I wanted to go somewhere where there's a lot of white space, and again, that was the hair industry.
Right, right. Yeah. So I've been looking at your website and I think you kind of have a lot of different pathways, so to speak.
Mhm.
So how does it work and what is the rental fee? I think you have a couple different options.
Yeah, so it's a subscription model, and the insight there is the way we like to what we like to compare it to is the shoe industry in the late '80s, early '90s. So if you think about prior to Nike's heyday, people had one or two pairs of shoes that they wear with every outfit. And then there's a shift that happened where people started to think of their shoes as an accessory. And
Right.
that's happening today in the hair industry, especially with the younger generation. If
Hmm.
you scroll through a timeline on TikTok, you could pick any individual, and it doesn't matter their race. They have different colors, different lengths of hair, and a
Yeah.
lot of women are opting to wear wigs and hair extensions to get that versatility instead of altering their natural hair. But the hair costs a lot of money, so unless you're okay with buying a wig from Amazon or Shein, you're spending hundreds of dollars. So the wig I'm wearing today, if I was to go out and buy it, I would have spent at least $800 at a minimum.
Wow. Wow.
So this allows women. This is for people who are hyper consumers of hair extensions and wigs, meaning they're always wearing hair. They come to us each month. They pay $100. We send out their style, and when they're done with it, they send it back to us, and then we work with local contractors to handle the washing, sanitization, and restyling of that hair.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's great. I
Yeah,
absolutely, I thought this was a brilliant concept when I heard it on Better and Shark Tank. And your pitch was great. You
thank
were
you.
so smart. You had all your numbers down. You just didn't hesitate with any question that they asked you. It was really great. How did it
Thank you.
feel to win?
It felt great. I was pitching to an audience who I didn't think would resonate with what we were building.
Hmm.
So when we won, it was almost a feeling of validation, like, okay, we're getting really good at communicating the story and why we're building what we're building.
Right. I know too. I mean, I myself, I've never done wigs or hair extensions,
Hmm.
but it is up and coming. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, uh, you know, doesn't matter the race.
Hmm.
Everybody wants to change up, what they're doing, whether they cut their hair and then they cut their hair and they don't like it. And so, I see women all the time where it kind of looks like they have hair extensions.
Hmm.
Um, so, and that, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I kind of sort of know a little bit about the wig space because women who like have breast cancer and are going through chemotherapy, they often want wigs.
Hmm.
And those wigs, either they're buying cheap wigs
Exactly.
that look terrible, or they're buying wigs and they're paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for these
Hmm.
wigs. So have you ever thought about kind of breaking into that market? Because women who go through chemotherapy, eventually their hair grows back,
Yes.
but they have months and months and months where they need a product like yours that, it is the monthly rental fee that, they can change it up.
No, thank you for that question, Tracy, because we don't really get to talk about some of the social impact work that we're doing. But I mentioned the aunt who gave me the idea for WellCat back in 2021. Uh, about 10 months after she gave me that idea, she was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer.
Oh gosh.
Luckily, she ended up beating it. Everything's
So
fine now.
sorry.
Just dealing with like the mental work of getting back to the life she used to know.
Right.
But because we saw her journey and we saw what she had to deal with from scheduling medical appointments, her life being upended like a matter of weeks, literally,
Right. Hmm.
we don't want anyone who's going through that to have to worry about where do I find hair, how much I have to pay for it, I have to get a prescription, or how does that work? So if you are dealing with chemotherapy, you come to us, you let us know, and we automatically give you a free month of membership. Well, unlimited memberships while you're
Oh
going through
wow.
treatment. Yes.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that.
Eventually,
Um,
we would like to work with the insurance companies, but for now, we
right,
don't want you to have to worry about that until we figure
right.
out a way that we can do it where it's a very, very low lift for you. It's just free memberships.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was dying to ask you this question, and the reason why is because that's the first thing I thought of. Um, because I've, you know, been touched by somebody who had breast cancer and went through chemotherapy and, you know, went ahead and paid hundreds of dollars for wigs
Mm-hmm.
that looked, halfway decent, and it's a tough thing, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you're going through something like that and you're losing your hair, and it can be a very emotional type of time. So the fact that, hair becomes, and just the way you look overall becomes important. And I love that, you're partnering with women and offering that service. That's fabulous. Hello, viewers and listeners. Are you a military veteran or military family member and looking to own your own business? If so, go to JDog.com and check out our two veteran-focused franchises, JDog Junk Removal and Hauling and JDog Carpet Cleaning and Floor Care. Our franchisees nationwide are always looking to hire fellow veterans and patriots. JDog is the world's largest military franchise system with hundreds of locations nationwide. We are nearly 90% veteran-owned with the goal of reducing the veteran unemployment rate to under 1%. Check us out. Go to jdog.com to learn more. Now back to the podcast. Because that's the first thing I thought of like during your pitch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be such a great fit for the breast cancer community. That's awesome that you're doing that. Here comes the $64,000 question.
Yes.
Tactical treasure. What is your tactical treasure that you want to share with us today?
When I think back at the one thing that the military taught me that I would like to share with everyone else is just I used to say to be an anchor during the storm, but now I say
Hmm.
to be the stabilizer. I started like studying boats and how they move. But there's going to be ups and downs and just in life because life occurs in cycles. And instead of you reacting to those waves and going up with the up waves and down with the downs, I've learned to just stay calm, assess the damage, look at what's going on around you, pay attention, and to make decisions from that place of calmness. And that's been a world of a difference for me. I think that's when it comes to building a business, I think entrepreneurs who have a military background do so well because in the military, especially as an officer, you're trained to make high quality decisions under stress.
Hmm.
And that's all the startup is. You're constantly putting out fires and having to make a lot of decisions, and you have to assess right away is this a high impact decision or a low impact decision? How much research or recon do I have to do before giving a yes or a no? So,
Wow. Wow, that's great. That's a great treasure. And yeah, being an entrepreneur myself with my husband, we've had difficult seasons. And one thing that I've learned is it could be an emotional time, but you have to step back and try to be objective. Prayer is an awesome thing too. It
100%.
gets you through a
Every
lot of
morning.
stuff every morning. I know. I
Started off
hear
with
you.
prayer.
I hear you, girlfriend. I'm the same way, and that gets you through a lot of tough times. So, do you have any advice for your female veterans who are struggling with transitioning post service and finding their way?
Yeah, I was sitting on a panel yesterday for Women's History Month, so I'll borrow the advice I gave yesterday,
Uh huh.
which is lean on the qualities that are innate to you as a female. Um, and this isn't gender specific, it's for anyone who identifies as a woman. I think we have a lot of innate qualities that make us a better or make us strong founders.
Yeah.
Those being just having a strong intuition, having a keen attention to detail. Instead of shying away, I used to try to make my voice deeper and do a whole bunch of other weird stuff to like try to be a more masculine leader. And now I've learned to just tap into the things that I that are strengths for me as a woman, and lean on those strengths and lead from that place. And that's made me a more authentic leader. I'm more comfortable because I'm not putting on someone else's shoes and trying to walk around in them, which gives you
Right.
another level of confidence when you're in your own skin. So I've really been leaning into those traits that I feel like are innate to a lot of us. Just that, not to sound cheesy, but tapping into that feminine energy, so and leading
Right.
from there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great advice. I love it because you are right. I think as women, when we're in positions of leadership or, you know, being a CEO of a company or being even executive, level, you feel like you need to be a certain way or change, who you are. I agree with you. I don't think that's true. I think we should be our authentic selves, and we've all been given gifts, and we should use those gifts no matter what level we are at, whether we're leading or not.
I agree.
I think that's the best way, and I think you gain respect too from people underneath of you if you're not trying to be somebody who you're not, but you're being yourself.
I
So
agree.
Yeah.
Another thing I talked about yesterday is as a female founder, you're the most under researched founder there is, especially if you're a woman of color. Oh my goodness. And I remember back in my military days, because I wasn't good at running, they would make us run with heavier shoes, in bad conditions, running in the rain, running in the mud. But then when you get perfect conditions, like the weather is great, you have on the right shoes, you speed through the track. And I think that's one of the advantages that we have as female founders, my co founder and I, because we didn't have capital for so long, we had to learn how to build a brand and do marketing with almost little to no money. But now that we're finally getting capital, we just took another. So far, we've raised over 500,000, and now we're about
Oh,
to go out
wow.
and raise 1.2 million in a seed round.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so
That's
now that
amazing.
we have capital, it's like if we've done all of this with no
Nothing,
resources, what can
right?
we do now that we have an engine behind us?
Right. Sure. Oh, wow. That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, so this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing everything that you did. I love your company. I think you're doing great work in a space that's not only a luxury space, but getting into the breast cancer space and helping women who are going through with chemotherapy. I think it's an awesome way that you're kind of giving back,
Thank you.
and honoring what your aunt went through too. And glad to hear that she's come out on the other side.
Thank
Um,
you.
Before you go, can you tell us where people can find and connect with you, how they can find out more information on Capped and how to rent, and can they buy the wig if they like it? I that
Yes. Yeah.
that question just popped into my head.
Yeah, and if you're renting one of our units and you fall in love with it, you send us an email at hello@wellcat.com. It's not automated right now, unfortunately, but then we just tell you the price. We send over an invoice. But if you want to buy a wig that hasn't been used, we are available on Amazon. The best place to go to find out anything about WellCap is www.wellcap.com. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And then my Instagram, my personal Instagram is Shante Lene 12, SHANTE LENE 12. And I'm also available on LinkedIn if anyone has any questions about their own founder journey or building a company.
Check you out, right? Send a LinkedIn message. That's awesome.
Yes,
And are you just Shante Frazier on LinkedIn?
yes, with an
Okay,
I, Frazier. Yep.
awesome. That's great. Um, Yeah, this has been really amazing, and I can't wait to just follow your journey and watch your company grow. It's been awesome,
Thank you for having me, Tracy.
and congratulations on everything, and thank you for taking the time to come on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Hello, viewers and listeners. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Tactical Treasures podcast. We've just finished up an awesome conversation with Shante Frazier, who served as an intelligence officer in the Army National Guard. She is now the CEO and co-founder of Well Capped. Well Capped was founded in 2022 by Shante Frazier and Lauren Grant. Their motto, make every day a great hair day. Well Capped is a data-driven beauty company that enables members to access a shared inventory of high-quality wigs and hair extensions. Members are able to access this inventory through three ways: monthly subscription, a la carte rentals, and purchasing through their resale program. They use predictive modeling to recommend styles. Under the rental agreement, when a wig is returned, it is cleaned by hospital grade sanitization as well as steam sanitization. Well capped wigs are crafted using 100% premium human hair. This not only guarantees a natural look and feel, but also allows the customer to style it just like they would with their own hair. Well Capped is committed to providing the customer with the luxury and quality they deserve, the well-capped way. To learn more about their multiple subscription options, go to wellcapped.com. And if you want to reach out to Shante Frazier, she can be found on LinkedIn, Shante Frazier, and her last name is Frazier, and you can send her a LinkedIn message. Thank you for checking us out today on our podcast. Don't forget, you can find Tactical Treasures podcast on all your favorite podcast streaming platforms, as well as YouTube, American Grit, and Vet TV. We are now airing on Reese Across America Radio on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you missed that, please join us for the encore on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can also find Reese Across America Radio on the iHeartRadio app, the Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app. We are also proud to share that our JDog Foundation is a Reese Across America sponsorship group. For each $17 Veterans Wreath you sponsor, $5 goes directly back to the JDog Foundation, whose mission is to prevent veteran suicide and heal veterans' mental health and PTSD. You can donate right now at Reese Across America Radio/JDog. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again on another podcast real soon. Bye-bye now.